integrity and determination. Thank you very much.
The Honourable Powell.
Madam Deputy Speaker, let me begin by extending my deepest condolences to the families of our brave soldiers who have lost their lives in this terrible war. Honourable members, the situation in the eastern DRC is dire. Nearly 3,000 civilians have been slaughtered by M23's recent advance into Goma. 500,000 people have been displaced, adding to the 2 million already fled. Just last week, 150 female inmates were raped and burned to death in the Goma jailbreak. In total, this conflict has claimed an estimated 5 million lives after the last 3 decades. The truth is that South Africa is in no position to take on the role of a peacemaker or a mediator. Neither is the SADC, which, like ANC government leaders, has repeatedly failed to uphold even basic democratic principles, rubber-stamping rigged elections in Zimbabwe and Mozambique, and most likely the DRC itself. This is aside from the multi-cycle budget cuts that have hollowed out our defence force, rendering our troops immobilised. Our base in the DRC struggles with critical shortages of medicine, food and ammunition. Roval helicopters are unavailable. All but one of our 26 Griffins sit idle. This abomination cannot continue. Make no mistake, this conflict is about politics and money. M23's advances are not ideological. They are designed to consolidate control over critical mineral resources and supply lines to Rwanda. The United Nations reported in December that the M23 generated $800,000 in taxes on mineral trades each month. These armed militia are now able to tax the 40 tons of goods that move through Minova Bay daily. Despite the tragedy unfolding, it was a grave miscalculation for our government to have involved South Africa in this intractable conflict. President Ramaphosa has claimed that as a country, we have a duty to support the nations that helped secure our liberation. This is a ruse. South Africa's soldiers have been sent to die in a war that is not ours in order to safeguard the financial interests of the ANC and their benefactors. SANDF's deployment to the DRC is perhaps tied to the commercial and mining interests of the very men who, working with ex-President David Mabuza, helped to secure the Honourable Cyril Ramaphosa's ascension to the ANC presidency in 2017. Executive Chairperson of the Guma Group and founder of Gajima, Robert Gumedi's ties to the ANC are no secret, having provided millions in election funding. Guma has acquired a number of prospecting rights for oil and gas in the Great Lakes region, whilst their mining concessions in the DRC are public knowledge. Gumedi's company interests specifically target mineral resources in the North Kivu province. The ANC's willingness to compromise our national sovereignty for political and financial gain is not just limited to mining interests, but it extends to the infrastructure of our nation. Huawei's partnership with Gumedi's Gajima, which, working with China, helped to consolidate government's ICT infrastructure into a single cyber cloud, paints a murky picture of intersecting interests driven by corporate greed and political ambition. The same corruption that has infected our government has now dragged our soldiers into a foreign war. Mining rights and political interests coincide at the intersection of our soldiers' dead bodies, and our country needs to be talking about this and loudly. Questions must also be asked about the Grand Enga Dam project. South Africa must now urgently demand SANDF's withdrawal. Recognizing the role that Rwanda has played in destabilizing the Great Lakes region, we must unite in calling for the sanctioning of Rwandan political and military figures who have enabled this illegal advance into sovereign territory in the DRC. This House must join in international calls for an embargo on illegally mined minerals, that are exported from the region. We must demand the full implementation of the Rwanda-Nairobi peace process, mediated by credible political leaders whose political campaigns are not funded by mining magnates with direct financial interests in the region. The lives of our soldiers can no longer be traded for the profits of the ANC's elite. I thank you.
Honourable the Minister of International Relations and Cooperation.
Honourable members, I stand shoulder to shoulder with my esteemed parliamentary colleagues, united in our tribute to the fallen heroes of our National Defence Force members, the Malawi Defence Force members, the Tanzanian Defence Force members, and the Uruguay Defence Force, under the UNESCO and the SAMI DRC. It is not just a tragedy for our country. It is a tragedy that has befallen UNESCO. It is a tragedy that has